And we're back, and we are moving into our final conversation for today. We're joined by representatives of the Development Finance Corporation, DFC, to talk about some of the loan promotions that they have ongoing. We have with us Claudia Elena, who is the branch manager in Cayo, and we have Colleen Hamilton, who is the junior credit officer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting us as well.
Okay, ladies. So definitely some tight times in the country right now, and people are definitely looking to access additional financing or necessary financing for essentials. Talk to me about what's been happening at DFC, how you've been helping your customer base.
Right now, when it comes to under the situation that we have, we've been trying to offer some packages, some lower interest rate. We just recently had some revision in our policies and our requirements. One of them is mainly for the residential sector, where we've been able to lower our interest rate to 8%. It's a range between 8% to 12%. And also, we've entered into a working partnership right now with the Central Building Authority, where in conjunction we've developed some starter home building plans, which are a lot more affordable versus if you have to get it done for a private institution. Our cost is they go up to $200 versus $1,500 if you would have to pay it privately, and these are ready-made home plans that we're offering. And it's a combination between 3-bedroom concrete structures, 2-bedroom concrete structures, or 2-bedroom wooden structures.
Okay.
And when it comes to the educational loans, what are some of the features of that people should know about?
One of the educational programs, well, we do have a regular education program, but we have also entered, we're also offering an education fund, which is geared mainly for the poor and vulnerable groups that we have countrywide. The good thing about this one is that it's at a lower interest rate of 8%, and the collateral requirements for this are more in line with what some people can offer.
Yeah.
We have those going up to 40,000, where you require only 2 guarantors as opposed to what we offer under a normal loan program, which is real estate collateral.
Yeah. So, what has it been, though, in terms of people coming in accessing these educational loans? Is it that people have been coming in later than usual? We know that COVID kind of threw everyone off schedule. Can they still come in to access these educational loans?
Yes, it's ongoing, so we don't have a specific cutoff time in terms of deadlines for them to apply.
Okay.
I know that sometimes when it comes to loans, people are hesitant in trying to get into a loan, and they try their best to see how best they can finance on their own. So sometimes you do get late requests for student loan application. But once the request comes in, we process. There's no deadline as to when you need to apply. Of course, the schools have their deadlines in terms of payments and when payments are submitted. We, however, try to work with the tertiary institutions so that we have a working relationship, so we can still facilitate those students that come in after the deadline for payment and facilitate the loans as well.
Okay. And what are some of the criteria that you have to meet to be able to access a loan?
Some of it's very general criteria when it comes. We need to know that the client is in good standing with the school. We want to know that the student is performing above the requirement of when it comes to the grading system. And when it comes to other requirements, that they're able to provide some sort of security to secure their loan. Like as I mentioned, under the education fund, for the special education funds, we have a lot more flexibility when it comes to it. So that we have been able to provide some loans where they have absolutely no security once they meet certain criteria. So for this program, some of the criteria that we look for is that the client is a member of the household with annual income of less than 15,000 would be one of them, or that they have dependency ratio as well. They're dislocated by economic changes. They're from vulnerable groups. Benefiting from some social assistance programs. So once they meet any one of these criteria, they would qualify under that program.
Yeah, so these loans can then, or the structure of them can be a big relief to somebody who's already experiencing some sort of difficulty.
Yes, it could. And also just to add to what Ms. Elena is saying, especially during this time of uncertainty when it comes to financial support, we also have the option for the loans geared to low income or vulnerable people to finance the interest and insurance during the grace period, which as well could come as a relief for them, especially if you are unemployed at the moment. So that is something that we can look into, and the interest rate is 8% fixed. So that interest rate won't change for the low income student loan program.
Yeah, you know, DFC has a really great student loan program because you offer, I think, some of the benefits that are very helpful when you repay is always one of the critical points, and there's also a grace period after you've completed your degree. But there's also a priority list, isn't there? And a certain limit as to how much people can be able to access based on their degree. Can you tell us a bit about that?
The limit is, we don't have no limit. What we need to know is that the way that we try and assess it is the loan when they come back based on the course that they've accomplished.
So we look at the repayment capacity after the student has attained the degree, and that will determine what will be the maximum amount that we can finance. When it comes to the priority listing, that is based on what GOV provides in terms of what is priority for the countries, and we tend to focus mainly on those. However, it is not to say that if what you want to study is not on the priority list, we will turn you away. We try to work with everybody, and we would have a conversation with you and see how best we can assist you. But we look at agriculture, we look at education as part of our priority listing, finance, and we have a whole listing based on what was provided to us as well.
And just when it goes to one, it's 150 the specialized courses like medicine and law. So we do have up to 150,000 for those.
And have you found that there's a good level of interest so far in people who are willing to, or like probably interested in these loans? And have there also been any questions that people have been asking?
We have a high interest in them for both our regular program as well as the special education funds. Thankfully, we've been able to move the special education funds over the past couple of years. We were not getting the interest initially, but thankfully we've been able to offer that to them more. We have also been able to enter into an agreement as well with the University of Belize, who is also promoting the programs with us. So we have that partnership ongoing with them as well.
Yeah. And what are some of the other benefits of accessing your student loan at DFC?
One of the main benefits for accessing the student loan is that during the period of studies, you're not required to make any principal payment towards your account. So you're given that entire period of your program, whether it's 24 months, a 12-month program, or a 4-year program, that is considered grace, and you're only required to pay interest and insurance towards your account. Once completed, you're still given an additional 6 months after obtaining your degree, so you have time to job hunt and seek employment before the principal payment commences. So that's one of the huge benefits, as well as the interest rate. The student loan interest rate for the regular student loan is 11%, and that's on the reducing balance. And as Ms. Elena mentioned, the interest rate for the low income student loan is at 8% fixed.
And for the starter homes, what is the main benefit, or what is the biggest takeaway that you'd like perhaps our viewers or somebody interested who's listening to take away?
Well, actually, one of the major ones would be the cost savings generated. As I mentioned initially, was that if you were to do it privately, you would have to pay almost $1,500 or more just to get that done. Whereas with the ones that we have right now, we have them readily available. We have the 3D render concepts, and all you really need to do is that the CBA has these readily available for you just to take the necessary particulars to the property that you're building on. And for this, we've been getting quite a lot of interest due to the affordability of the actual plan.
Yeah. And I wanted to get more in detail because I mean, the renderings are showing right now. Explain to us the details of this. Essentially what has happened is that you have the pre-approved plans for 3 different designs. So that eliminates one of the critical aspects of being able to access financing.
Yes.
Do you want to explain further on that?
So as you mentioned, the plans are pre-approved. So when it comes to having to come up with that upfront cost, one of the requirements to apply for a residential loan is you must have a CBA approved plan.
Yeah.
So you need to come up with that upfront cost to pay somebody to draft the plan and then get it approved by the CBA. So that's automatically eliminated, and you're looking at a fraction of what you would actually pay to get that plan. So it's easily accessible for you. It's time savings because you don't have to wait until the draft man have completed the plan and then wait another 2 weeks to get it approved by CBA. You can get your plan within 1 week and you can get your loan started. Most people that comes in for the residential loan, they want their home now. I'm ready for my house and I don't want to. So this will eliminate the wait. So all you'll have to do after you have obtained your plan is just to get a cost estimate from your contractor to build.
One of the things that I want to mention when it comes to that is that if anybody is interested in these plans, they have to go through the DFC so that the DFC would be able to provide them a letter to take the Central Building Authority, and they could benefit from these pre-approved plans.
Okay. Now, it's essential for people to know that this is only for the construction of the home. The borrower must come in with a property already.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
But to add to that, Marlene, as well, if they do not have a property, we try to work with everyone in acquiring housing. So if it's somebody that does not have a property as well and have the capacity to borrow to buy the property and construct at the same time, we will entertain that as well. Also, if we can do it in steps in terms of just acquiring property. We also have a land ownership program whereby we can learn for the acquisition of a land, and then we can look later on down in refinancing so that you can construct as well. So we have programs available to work with everybody. It's just a matter of coming in, having a discussion with us, and we'll try our best to assist you.
So with these pre-approved plans, what's the cost saving that we're talking about here?
If it goes, let's say for the 2 wood and wood structure, you're only paying 164 for the actual plan, and it goes up to 188 for the 3-bedroom concrete model, if that's what you're interested in. What you're showing right now on the screen is basically just a rough estimate of what it could cost you to build one of these particular ones. And of course, this would vary greatly by the location. So if you live in the Keys, it might be more expensive, whereas if you live inland.
Yeah, absolutely. And Colleen, you mentioned something really important there, which is when someone comes in for a loan, usually they want it the next day. So what's the turnaround time that you would tell people they can expect to wait to find out if they're approved and to be able to access the financing?
Well, if the customer comes in with all submissions for an application, and we will work with them along the way in terms of ensuring that they know what are the requirements, so that at the time of appointment, they have all submissions available. Once they have all submissions available, it'll take us about 2 to 3 weeks for an approval.
Okay. And that's for the starter home, for the home loans?
And that's for all the residential loans.
Right.
Okay, sorry. And for the educational loan?
It would be almost the same time frame. It's a little bit, I would say, more within the 2-week time frame. One of the things is that we recently also launched the student loan portal, which makes it a little bit more flexible for the students to apply as opposed to coming into the office. The time frame is the same, but the process is a little bit simpler if you do it through the online portal.
Yeah, and exactly, that was going to be my question, because I was going to ask if anybody's interested or if anybody wants, like, what's the best way to contact you to learn more, and how they can, communicate with other representatives from the DFC, especially in the times right now when people are trying to stay home more, trying to keep their distance more. So if they want to learn more, what are the different ways that they can contact the DFC?
It could be either through the website. It could be also directly with one of the branches. So those are the two main ones. When it comes to taking applications, we facilitated quite a bit of clients with phone conversations via the phone. And of course, we've gotten quite a bit of numbers through the student loan portal during the past couple of months.
Yeah. All right. And what if in trying to access the starter home loan, I wanted to refinance? Maybe I'm already paying towards something else. Is that also a possibility?
We would need to see what the balances are. Because we're geared at the development. We don't really refinance personal loans. We would need to see the case. Need to see it on a case-by-case basis to see how we would able to integrate that into your loan, though. We just don't want that to be the major portion of your loan.
Excellent. All right, and talk about some of the things that usually makes people hesitant about accessing a loan at DFC that perhaps you can be able to clarify today.
One of the major ones is the collateral to secure the loans. We're trying to be a little bit more flexible. Our new policy and that we just launched, internal policy, allows for a lot more flexibility when it comes to that as well. If you have a strong guarantor, and the normal program sometimes requires 2 guarantors, but if you have one that's a strong guarantor, we would be able to work with that one guarantor. When it comes to real estate, we've also increased the range where it's above 20,000 as opposed to what it was before, which was 15,000. So we're definitely trying. We've improved in various areas when it comes to that, so that we have more interest and more people are able to qualify for these loans. And
I also think on a whole, considering our economic climate at the moment, people are hesitant on a whole to come in for loans.
Yes.
Unsure of an income and things of that nature. DFC tries our best to work with our customers. When you come in for an application, the repayment amount that is set is what we are comfortable, or we believe is a comfortable repayment for the customers, after having spoken with them and taken and making an assessment on what are their current liabilities and their income. So we do our best to work with our customers, so it's not.
Seems like we're having some connection issues there, but I hear your most important point, which is that you try to work with your customers as best as possible. I think we may have lost them, Gavin. Claudia, Colleen? Yeah, it seems we've lost that connection. Well, Luckily, we do have this flyer up at the moment where you can see how you can contact them for more information. This morning, we discussed two of the options that are available from the DFC, looking at the educational loans and, of course, the starter home loans. And you can contact the DFC office nearest you. You can definitely find this information. All this information is on their website, and you can find out more.